much, Josh. That's really interesting. I'm so interested in all the robotics and the new technology that's continuously coming out in the cannabis industry. This is my non-disclosure. I'd just like to say thank you. It's really important for us all to keep connected during these unprecedented times where no one really knows what's happening. And also, I want to just say big happy birthday to Raphael Mashulian. I really wanted to meet you this year, and unfortunately, maybe I have to speak next year. But without the work that you and your team did, a lot of us wouldn't even be here today. So just wanted to say a big thank you from us here in Spain. And welcome to my online presentation here at Cannx, Changing the Perception of Plant-Based Medicine by Using Science and Greenway DNA. So my name's Clare Navas. I'm the founder of The Leaf Elite, mother of two boys, hemp enthusiast, entrepreneur, and I've just recently done a partnership with Greenway DNA. I currently treat patients of all different ages with different cannabinoid therapies, alongside stuff like energy healing, nutritional guide, and meditation and exercise. So slightly different, but really, really great. So I currently treat them from my Dynamic Wellness Centre, which is a gym based in Marbella, Spain. So how did I get into this crazy cannabis industry? Well, most of us have got some sort of journey or some sort of story behind us. So it's back in 2016 when I lost two friends to cancer. And one of them was lucky enough to get access to cannabis oil, which didn't cure her cancer, but it definitely helped. And for the last 3 months of her life, she was able to spend it in less pain, and she got to spend some more time with her loved ones and family, which really inspired me to look more into this industry and find out what I could do to help it. And one of the clinical studies that I looked at was actually carried out by Raphael Mashulian himself, which was the treatment of children that were undergoing chemotherapy treatment. And they gave out THC, and they gave out the placebo olive oil. And actually they had to stop giving the placebo out because the THC was working so well. So I just didn't understand why, if they knew about it 30 years ago, were they not using it now? And it really made me angry. I'm a mother. And anyone tried to tell me that there was something out there that could possibly help my children become better and we couldn't have access to it, I knew that I had to really do something about it. And I don't know if anyone else has had this in their life, but once you have your mind set on something, everything that I was sort of attracting has something to do with the cannabis industry. And my friends had just invested over in California, and they were cultivating flowers and they were producing vapes. So they invited me over there to see what was going on, and it was mind blowing. 10 years ahead of us in Europe, there was CBD. Everyone knew about the medicinal, well, not everyone, but a lot of people knew about the medicinal benefits of cannabis. It was widely known. There was advertising available. It was all available on social media, and I knew this is how we had to sort of do this back in Spain. So when I came back to Spain, I carried on my research, attending various events all over Europe and the UK, finding out and trying to meet as many people and getting connected in the industry. And it's quite a hubbub of different peoples, because you've got a mixture of the farmers, illegal growers, businessmen and scientists. So quite quickly I knew that probably it was best for me to become a sort of spokesperson for the industry, bringing that unregulated cannabis market and bring it together with science and the business ethics to try and get it into the hands of the people that really required it. And during my adventures out in the cannabis industry, and as he was hearing my stories and how cannabis was changing people's life, he decided to give me the opportunity and offer me to write an editorial, which I started to do. And I thought this was an amazing platform, because it actually gave me the chance to promote the benefits of cannabis alongside lifestyle and luxury instead of the normal magazine, cannabis magazines, which was really going to open it up to a different target market. And it was whilst this that I had my first encounter with Danny, who was a cancer patient who'd only been given 6 months to live. And after he'd been taking cannabis oil, literally it was after a few days, the results were absolutely inspiring. And this really pushed me forward. And I continued to carry on doing events, and which were in 5-star hotels, organic restaurants, and of course cannabis clubs, not only promoting cannabis as a health product, but also sustainability and environmental benefits. After that, it was in 2019 where I met John from Greenway DNA, and they had the dosage kit, and I knew I could finally offer my patients and the whole world proof that the plant was working with their DNA, and that gave them the dosage of what they needed. And these were a couple of my clients that are benefiting from taking CBD oil.
I heard it and I take Clare's oil. And I'm 90 and I feel marvellous. What I normally uses. And now look at her. Come on, man. Come on, mate. Don't jump off.
And she's absolutely an amazing character. And as I said, we use full spectrum CBD oil because one of the scientists I brought over from the UK had been working with a cannabinoid called CBG. And that, like THC, binds with the receptor. But you need all of these cannabinoids to make an impact. That's, in my opinion, how I've seen it work. So the CBG with all the other cannabinoids work combined with the receptors, but are much more therapeutic, unlike THC, which is a bit more, makes you a bit high. So this is Mia. Mia suffers with Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune deficiency. And she takes CBD on a regular basis. And this is what she said after taking it.
My antibodies have dropped again. So just so you know, they started at 900, went down to 400. Then I had another drop of only like 5 and then went down to 395. And there you will see that they are something like 335. So, and the only thing it can be is CBD oil. You'll want baby cakes.
Oops. Right. So why haven't we had access to this plant, which is really annoying? So we would have had it in Neanderthal times, we would have arrived at our camp, and in 3 months, we'd have had our seeds to sow, we would have had food, shelter, and medicine. We know back in the Romans times, they were using it for inflammation. The Egyptians, we found it in the tombs. We know that the father of Chinese medicine, Sheng Nung, wrote about it in all of his textbooks. Most of them had it in there. The great William O'Shaughnessy, the Irishman, was doing clinical studies back in the 1800s. He's documented it for being used for pain and suffering and tetanus. We know that the great Queen Victoria, the late great Queen Victoria, was prescribed cannabis tinctures. So what happened? Basically, plants weren't profitable. And we had the Marijuana Tax Act was brought in, making it into a Schedule 1 drug, making the normal cannabis user into a criminal or basically far out hippie. And then that was until we had the 1960s when Raphael Mashulia and a team of scientists discovered the compound THC and a whole lot more. But that basically proved the effectiveness of cannabis on human health, which was the endocannabinoid system. So let's get down to the science. All humans have an endocannabinoid system, which is a system of cellular receptors and processing proteins for metabolizing compounds we naturally produce, right? So the 3 main things that influences are the central nervous system, hormone regulation, and immune health. And basically, of these several endocannabinoid receptors that we know about, we've got the CB1, CB2, and recently we've got the GPR55. And these compounds signal our nervous system or other organs to become more or less active, basically like a dimmer switch inside our bodies. And they would change in response to certain stimulus, right, to make it more or less active. So the cannabis plants, which are made up of 152 compounds, flavonoids, and terpenes, these phytocannabinoids, to a certain degree, mimic our own natural endocannabinoids. anandamide and to AEG. And as a result, these are processed through the same endocannabinoid system of receptors, processing proteins and signaling systems in our bodies to cause a response within us. And actually, but more recently, if you listen to Rachel Knox's last presentations, they're actually calling it a dome because it works with everything. And these cannabinoids, which a lot of people don't even know, are actually being made all the time in response to stress, illness, and injury. So the promotion of the endocannabinoid system is fundamentally important. So to prove that this plant works. And I always, in my editorials, I normally start it off with a little basic explanation of the system so people can understand how the plant works with us. And actually, due to recent studies that have been carried out, we know that a lot of diseases such as fibromyalgia, PTSD, IBS, are all due to a clinical deficiency, and they're calling it a clinical endocannabinoid deficiency. So we can change the perception of this plant through the promotion of cannabis alongside other wellness practices as well. And other things that stimulate our endocannabinoid system, because apart from the plant and all of its glory, we have got other things that help us stimulate our endocannabinoid system. And we really need to do this by choosing a healthier lifestyle. And we can change the perception of this plant through the promotion of cannabis alongside other wellness practices as well. And other things that stimulate our endocannabinoid system, because apart from the plant and all of its glory, we have got other things that help us stimulate our endocannabinoid system. And we really need to do this by choosing a healthier lifestyle. And a lot of our fundamental problems are due to our poor diets that we now have, because many of us eat lots of processed foods, and this is really detrimental to our health. So if we start promoting the product, cannabis, alongside healthier lifestyle activities, one, we're going to try to help change the stigma of this plant, because currently people have a perception of cannabis users as people who eat lots of pizza, smokers, and are unhealthy. We need to really change the perception of this, and we can do this by promoting it alongside healthier activities. So if I was ever who's going to come to me in my clinic, the first things I'd ask you is, what do you eat? And then what do you do with your lifestyle? What are your lifestyle choices? And then as I work with a lot of sporting professionals, we know that they're constantly working to perform or outperform their colleagues. So all the time we know that the cannabinoids help regeneration and enhance concentration. So a lot of sports professionals are finding cannabis-based products really effective for helping them with their performance. We also know that certain diseases and problems that are symptoms are caused today, like diabetes, high blood sugar, and cholesterol, all could be really helped with a simple change of diet and some CBD introduction into their lives. I also help my clients with yoga and other outdoor activities, as they also improve your endocannabinoid system, helping you generate those cannabinoids that are vitally important to make us nice and healthy and balanced. So apart from that, we've got a lot of sporting professionals that are really, a lot of them are addicted to pain medication because they're obviously working out all the time. A lot of them can reduce this problem just by taking some CBD and putting them on the right path. We know that recently, due to the fact that we've got this horrible situation with COVID at the moment, and this COVID epidemic is causing huge problems with people with stress and anxiety. And we've got a huge problem with people being in fight or flight mode all the time. So we really need to help people keep calm and balanced. We can do this through meditation, yoga, CBD, and putting them on the right path for some different lifestyle choices. And getting them to choose maybe some virtual yoga classes or something could really help them. So apart from doing this, we really know that we could prove the benefits of CBD and cannabis and plant-based medicine by looking at our DNA makeup. So through my partnership with Greenway DNA, we have got this amazing kit. Now, this kit analyses your saliva, and it looks at 3 things at the moment, which is chronic pain, anxiety, insomnia, something that a lot of people are suffering with. And what they would do is it looks at how your body is going to respond to it. So certain people have different variants inside them. So actually, we have probably around 14 different variants. My favourite one that I like to look at is the AKT1, which is basically to do with your muscle cell response to cannabinoids. So I use a lot of this to do with people, the sports professionals. Now, it will look at these variants, and then it will tell you the dosage required to help you reduce those symptoms. So it looks at your DNA. It then gives you the dosage plan for your pain, anxiety, insomnia. Not only does it do it for CBD, but it also does it for THC. It then gives you the methods that you could start taking it, which of course is CBD on that we've got. Now, thank you very, very much for listening. So how can we change? So basically, listen, we have all really got to be helping. We can all help the medical community and all the people out there if we be responsible and start promoting the benefits of plant-based medicine along with science and showing them how it works. This is the most fundamental importance, because people really need a guide, and they really need to be put on the right path and showing them how cannabis works, taking away the old stigmas of the plant and putting it now towards new scientific backed up based medicine with more facts. So due to the fact that the plant is also, we have difficulties with dosages in and everything else because no one really knows how it works with the body. We can really change this with the kits and this other science that Josh was talking about. We can all work together and really make this work. So I hope that you've enjoyed my presentation, and in conclusion, public awareness of the ever-increasing problems in society. We've got the environments the foods being consumed, and the environmental stress being ever more stressful to our lives. And basically, we're the new advocates of change, and it's our responsibility to be the forefront of the change and showing the importance of the endocannabinoid system and the benefits of plant-based medicine. We can truly help the next generation with this sustainable and versatile plant and get the scientific studies and the medicinal cannabis plants in the hands of the people that need it the most. Sorry for that. Thank you for listening. Any questions?